Just one person. Maybe two, maybe three. Now the hands are coming up. Poor performance on the job. Lack of promotions. How many of you know that you should be a higher grade by now? Oh, all the hands going up now. But somebody that they say were more qualified than you got the job. You know, that will cause burnout when you don't get promoted when you know you should. That will cause burnout when you don't get awards. You know, feeling overwhelmed with tasks. Lack of communication. Personal setbacks, which we've talked about, and lack of vacations. I love to ask this question. How many of you have used or lose leave in December and you end up losing it? Shame on you. Donate it to me. Donovan, you're my friend. Donate your leave to me. I would never have used or lose leave. I'm sorry. How many of y'all agree with me? I'm going to use all of my leave. Every bit of it. But really, we need to learn how to take vacations. I want you to know the job will go on without you. They will replace you so quick. Point and example is the lady that brought me up here will help process me in. My director's still not here, I don't think. But very mean lady. Very mean lady. I mean, man, I want to go there. I'm going to get depressed. But she was very mean. I want you to know, well, I'm not saying because of me, but 1 month later, she was dead. 1 month later, after getting up here, we still trying to process it. Me and another guy that came in behind me, and we're trying to process it, and she's gone. Well, we had a funeral in Arlington Cemetery this year. Yeah, a whole year and something later. But we had her funeral, but I want you to know what has happened. They hadn't hired anybody. Myself and other people have picked up the pieces and doing budget and HR stuff. I like that, actually. I'm tired of being an engineer. He's still not here, right? I'm tired of being an engineer. You know, I can do something else. Let me do a little budget. Let me do a little HR admin stuff. In other words, let me get a fat check and do little work. I'm sorry, y'all. That's the truth, though. Y'all, please don't call my government agency and, say that she's unhappy. Because I'm going to tell them that I don't know what y'all talking about. And y'all went to the wrong workshop. What to do in a setback. I got a perfect example that I'm going to give you about setbacks. You got to face it and start over. You got to seek new paths if you're going to succeed. You got to major on your strengths. I cannot stress that enough. You got to major on your strengths. All of you, I'll say it again, at least have one thing that you can do great. I'm going to get to that too, but you got to major on your strengths. Minor in the insignificant issues. Accept your responsibility for the setback and deal with it. That's the bottom line. A lot of you are writing, but I do have a booklet up here for you to sign and give me your email, and I will send the presentation to you on next week. These are the things that you got to do if you're going to turn a setback into a comeback. You got to acknowledge your faults. You got to master your weaknesses, and don't be afraid to come back. That's the most powerful thing I think is on this chart is don't be afraid to come back. You got to have the Thomas Edison attitude that, yes, I failed 1,000 times, but I know I'm supposed to be doing this. Some of us, as we say, only try 5 times or 1 time, and we fail. We're like, people know I failed, and I can't try this again. I want to tell you something about turning setbacks into a comeback. Once I was sitting in my garage in Huntsville, getting ready to go somewhere, and my car is in park, of course. I was in an automatic at the time, and my car was in park. And I always have these little nuggets of truth or divine revelations, I call them. And when I got ready to put my car in reverse, I heard this, Val, you're trying to go to the store, aren't you? And I said, yes. He said, but if you look at the gear, according to what gear you're moving from park to reverse, it would appear that you're going backwards. And if you're saying you're going to the grocery store or to the mall or whatever, you would think you would be in drive automatically. I hope some of you follow me with this, or all of you. But he said, but that's the way it is in life sometimes. People get in park, they have a setback, and they get in park right where that setback happened and stay there. He said, but other people, he said, but in order for you to go somewhere, you got to put it in reverse. Every now and then we need to look back and go back and get healed from maybe past wounds or whatever that has happened in our life. Go and tell somebody I'm sorry. Go and admit that it was my fault or whatever. Just go in reverse temporary. Because if I stayed in reverse, I would have went and hit my neighbor's house. Y'all have to understand that. You can't stay in reverse. And I think the next gear is neutral. I had a friend in the workshop yesterday, and he's working on cars. I said, is that right? Neutral is next. And I heard in there that a lot of people stay in neutral. They're not going forward. They're not moving backwards. They're just stagnant. And they're not going anywhere. And the next one is drive. You got to go when you have the green light. And that's why I want to talk about that. There's two roads that will leave my house. One is kind of a bumpy road, and the other one is I can immediately almost get on the interstate. Life throws us hit balls sometimes that causes us to get on the bumpy road, the little back road. And we don't like being there because we all like to speed. We all like to go 70 and 80 and some of you 90. I don't go that fast. But every now and then you need to be put on the back road, the dirt road. How many of you are from the South? Look at all those hands, my goodness. Everybody in D.C. I found out are from Alabama and Mississippi. I'm serious. Everybody I've talked to are from Alabama and Mississippi. But anyway, every now and then, well, we had dirt roads back home. We used to. Now they're gravel roads. But every now and then, life will throw things at us, be it on our job or in our personal lives or with our children, that will cause us to have to get on the dirt road and get on that rocky road and deal with some things. But how many of you know every now and then, we're given the fast lane? Life opens up for us when you start walking in your passions and doing it afraid and doing what you've really been called to do. That's life saying, hey, get on the interstate and just put the pedal down. Let your top back and let your hair blow in the wind. For you men, I don't know. Just let the top back. But I want you to know, and then I got a revelation about the red light and green light and yellow light. Every now and then we get the green light in life and tells us to go. And many of us still sitting in park. Imagine that. You got the green light, but you're sitting in park. You're afraid to move. Every now and then we get the red light and life telling us to stop. Stop a little bit. You need to focus on something. You need to deal with some issues, be it on your job. You need to confess. I confess. I knew I wasn't a good sandwich maker at that little sandwich shop, but I love my job. I was making maybe $5, $5.25, $5.25.